January 26, 1945, Holzweiler, France. A German attack, 250 men strong and supported by armor, has just been annihilated. Not by a secret weapon, not by an airstrike, but by one man. One American lieutenant, standing on a burning vehicle, with a single machine gun. The survivors couldn't speak of tactics, or courage, or even the enemy. They could only speak of the weapon. A weapon that had been in their inventory for over a decade. A weapon they had dismissed as simple, even crude. They had just met the M2 Browning, 50 caliber machine gun, and it was about to become their worst nightmare. This was the new mathematics of warfare. A single 50 caliber projectile carried over 12,000 foot-pounds of energy. It didn't just wound, it disintegrated. It didn't just kill, it erased. German field hospitals developed a grim triage for what they called the American spiffy casualty. But the impact went deeper than the physical. This was a psychological weapon. It created a sense of utter helplessness. You couldn't hide from it. You couldn't outsmart it. Luck, not skill, determined if you lived or died. And the Germans were about to learn that this terror was everywhere. The Germans called them Die Fliegenden Festungen, the flying fortresses. But the fortress walls weren't made of aluminum. They were made of fire. Each B-17 carried 13 50 cals. A single formation could throw up a wall of over 6,000 rounds per minute. There was no safe approach, no weak spot. Attacking the Americans, as one German ace wrote, was like flying through a storm of steel. You see the red tracers, and you know that for every one you see, 4 more invisible bullets are flying right past you. The American solution to bomber defense wasn't better armor. It was simply more bullets. On the ground, the 50 cal was a universal language. It was on everything. Jeeps, trucks, tanks. The Americans achieved something the Germans, with their doctrinal precision, never imagined. Total, ubiquitous, heavy machine gun coverage. Their doctrine was simple. If it might be an enemy, shoot it. They had the ammunition to be wrong. German veterans of the brutal Eastern Front thought they had seen the worst. Then they came to France and faced a fire that never, ever stopped. German ambush doctrine, so effective against others, failed catastrophically against the Americans. Why? Because the sheer volume of return fire from a simple supply convoy was often enough to destroy a seasoned German platoon. One platoon leader, in a post-war interrogation, said it best. We learned to only ambush isolated vehicles. But isolated vehicles were rare. The American convoys became death traps. For the ambushers, this wasn't just a tactical defeat. It was a strategic one. German forces could not interrupt the American supply lines that fed this endless storm of steel. The M2 Browning redefined the battlefield. In cities, walls became death traps, not protection. Brick facades were just paper to the heavy rounds. At night, the tracers weren't just for aiming. They were a psychological weapon, a light show of impending doom. Soldiers learned not to watch them, because to freeze was to die. The human instinct to take cover, the very foundation of infantry tactics, was rendered useless. This was the slow, steady erosion of the German fighting spirit. The Germans were craftsmen. They built sophisticated, precision instruments of war. The MG-42, the buzzsaw, was a masterpiece of engineering, but it demanded care and clean conditions. America, in this war, was not a nation of craftsmen. It was a nation of industrialists. They didn't build the best machine gun in a technical sense. They built the most effective *1, and they built 2 million of them. You could pour mud on an M2, hose it down, and it would fire without a hitch. The German hatred for the FH-Cal was the deep resentment of a master swordsman facing an opponent with a machine gun. Their skill, their training, their tactical brilliance, it was all being rendered obsolete by the relentless, brutal, simple mathematics of industrial might. The M2 Browning wasn't just a weapon. It was a system. A system designed to win, not by finesse, but by sheer, overwhelming volume. 80 years later, the weapon that helped break the Wehrmacht is still in service. It has outlasted empires. It has outlasted every tank, every plane, and every soldier that faced it in that war. It serves today, largely unchanged, on Humvees, ships, and helicopters. Its legacy is a simple, brutal lesson written in steel and fire. In the face of overwhelming, reliable, and ubiquitous force, resistance becomes mathematically futile. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, consider liking and subscribing for more content. See you next time.